Hello, this is Manesh Patel from Ichimoku Today is September 13, 2014. This is our bi-weekly Ichimoku analysis for the currency spot market. A lot of exciting things going on, especially with the pound currency and the yen currency this week, the last 2 weeks. This is our normal disclaimer to state this is for education use only. We're not soliciting you to buy or sell any particular instrument. If you do so, you're doing that at your own risk. All the charts you're seeing are basically from TradeStation. Here are our contact details here. You could call us at any of our office locations here, or you could access our website here at ichimokutrade.com, where we have a lot of free videos, multiple time frame email alerts, scanners, what else? A whole bunch of other trading tools for everyone out there. Here's our email address here, and also this is our institutional report where we give you forecasting for all the instruments worldwide, from stocks, futures, and currencies and so forth. Okay, let's move to TradeStation. Remember, on the left-hand side is the daily time frame. The right-hand side is basically the weekly time frame. If you look here, Australian CAD here, this is having its chance to sit there and break out. It just doesn't seem to want to break out. You notice the major resistance here was at 314. Didn't even sit there and get there at all. So basically made a lower resistance right now, which is not good. So it looks like it's trying to head back to 99.44. And if it gets back there, believe it or not, it's going to sit there and break that to sit there and try and go lower. So this is not showing you very good signs, believe it or not, for the Australian CAD, and believe it or not, if it breaks below this 1.000 level, this is going to sit there and definitely get to 99.44 and then sit there and break that to keep on going lower. So this could be the next big trend, believe it or not, in the daily time frame to go down, and where this possibly could get down to about believe it or not, 97.50. So keep an eye on that one for sure. Australian yen here sat there. It looks like it broke out. However, it broke out to a major resistance level, which is at 98.23. Didn't quite break it yet. Doesn't mean it's over at all. We're at a critical level right now, which is at a minor support at 97.05. If it holds that on a daily time frame, and starts making a move to 98.23, this is going to sit there and possibly start a trend where at least we'll get to the top of the pivot here, which is at 101.217. And this does show you signs of probabilities of high at doing that, so definitely keep an eye on Australian yen to hold that support and go up by the end of this week. Australian SWITSI here, it's at a major support at 84.17. Want to see it hold it there. If it holds it, it'll go to 88.64, which is a major support level. If not, it's going to sit there and come down to this 82.13 level, break it, and have a high probability coming down here to 7,800 level. So we're at a very critical level right now, which is a major support for Australian SWITSI. Notice the Australian yen, Australian SWITSI, all these are major critical supports. Australian CAD is not quite, but that's already showing you signs of breaking down. So it seems like Australian currency so far looks like it's weak. Weak because a lot of them are at major supports were critical on determining what's it going to do. And notice the Australian SWITSI and Australian New Zealand looks very, very similar. At a major support at 10.31, which is a major support. So it's going to be critical here to see exactly what happens at that level. It did get to a major resistance level, which is basically 12.93, but we want to see exactly what's going to happen here. This is showing you signs of being bearishness, believe it or not, and it could sit there and possibly break down, but it may take it a while to break down. Australian USD, as you probably see from the futures video, the dollar is extremely strong, and that's pretty much why this never sat there. Couldn't even get up here to the resistance level of 9,600, held a minor resistance level at 93.73, and then sat there and broke the support at 92.06. We're kind of expecting a pullback upwards, and then we're expecting this thing to sit there, at least get down to about 88.70 in the next couple of weeks. CAD SWITSI here, this had a nice upward movement. This is bearish trend here. It's trying to do a major pullback to about 86.75. So we're seeing exactly what's going to happen. It's at a major support right now, 84.09, which has to hold in order for it to come up here. If it doesn't hold and that support gets broken, we got a high probability we're going to come back down to 81.96, and if we break that support, we're going to sit there to continue to go down to retest the low. So CAD SWFJPY is at a major support level right now, so be very, very cautious of that. CAD yen, here you could see it basically an ugly consolidation pattern, believe it or not. It's at a minor resistance level at 96.79, where and then it kind of bounced off that level, closed at that level. The major resistance level is going to be 98.56, so we have to wait and see what happens in that one. SWFJPY yen here held the support at 112.98. At a major resistance level at 114.92 right now, and if it breaks that, that's going to sit there and come up here, retest this, and have a high probability of retesting the high and continuing to go on. So this is very, very critical where we're at for the SWFJPY yen right now this week, and you want to see it break it. If it does, it's got a high probability of retesting the high and then possibly taking off after that. Euro Australian, you could see here, major trend, did a major pullback. Didn't quite get to our pullback level of 35.84. The key thing now is if it breaks this resistance level of 44.05, it's got a high probability of retesting this high very, very soon. So we're going to wait and see what happens on that one, and then we could go from there. Euro CAD, same scenario as Euro Australian. Nice bullish trend here, did its major pullback. It got to our major pullback level, which is here at 41.34. Now it's got a high probability of coming back at least to 46.16, and then we want to see exactly what happens around that point to see if it's going to break that. Euro SWFJPY, it's at a support at 20.62. Next one's level is going to be 2,000. Euro DKK, this is the most interesting one here, and you could see here this was showing you signs of being bearish because it should have sat there and taken off and held the support here. It didn't do that at all. Went below the cloud and then sat there and held this resistance level 45.56. It got to our support level here 44.63, but it was so strong that it even broke that and went to the next level, which is 44.24. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly what happens at this level, but this is due for a major pullback. If not, it's going to get really crazy for that currency. Euro pound, you could see here on the euro pound here, this is bearish trending here. Looks like it's trying to do a major pullback now, or even some type of pullback, even medium pullback to about 81.34. So it looks like it's trying to do that. As long as it holds the support at 79.53, it's going to sit there and start doing a pullback, and it should at least get to about 81.34. And then the question is, what will happen at that point? If it breaks that support, this thing's going to continue to keep on going down to the next level. Euro yen, you could see here, held a support at 135.34. It's at a major resistance level at 140.000. This is very similar to the SWFJPY yen, which is critical. If it breaks that level here, then it's going to sit there and retest this high. The probabilities of it breaking that pivot high are going to be low unless it gets up there very, very fast. But the SWFJPY yen, believe it or not, is still the strongest. So if you want to play something against the yen, I definitely will look at the SWFJPY yen. Euro NOK, here, held a support here, bullish trending here, consolidating at the top here for the major pullback here. Support here is 8.1179. Major resistance level is going to be 30.30. Euro New Zealand, here, this is one ugly pattern here, held a support at 5,500. It's trying to get to a major resistance at 59.62, so we'll have to see what happens from there. Euro SEK here, this is a nice bullish trend here on the weekly. It's got consolidation patterns in it that's kind of destroying the daily time frame. You can see that from here. Major resistance here is 26.11. If it breaks that, this is going to retest the high and keep on going higher. So that'll be an interesting one to see. This is the best one here, Euro USD. Major support which it broke was 33.17. After it did that, it came all the way down to the next major support, which is 28.76, without even a pullback. That was amazing to see, which is extraordinary. If it breaks that level, then the next one's going to be 27.64. However, we think that it's going to hold here and start to pull back upwards. Where it's going to pull back, we're kind of hoping at least pulls back to about 31.45. It may not. If it's extremely still strong bearish, it'll pull back to about 3,008. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. The pound currency was the most interesting currency this week. A lot of volatile movements where the pound kind of looked weak at one moment and then came back with vengeance and kind of reversed the charts drastically. You could see from the weekly, and this is one reason why you trade in the direction of the higher time frames. You could see this is a bullish trend here, and you could see there was profit taking that was occurring, which is a major pullback here. Now, where that major pullback level stopped, we didn't know. There was a high probability of at least getting to here. It didn't even do that. It got to roughly about here and then bounced off there. Now the question is, what's it going to do? Well, the major resistance is up here at 82.52, so it could go all the way up to 82.52 or somewhere close to around that level, because there's a lot of minor resistance levels on the way. So where it gets to and where it holds is going to be the big thing on what's it going to do. Will it sit there and enter a consolidation pattern in this major pullback, or will it sit there, break this resistance, retest this high, and keep on going higher? So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Pound Switzy, same scenario. Looked like it was going to sit there and go lower. It didn't quite do that at all. It's got a high probability here. It held the level here. Didn't even quite get to our support at 49, 46, and now it's trying to come back up to this resistance level, which is up here at 42, 30, 52, 36. If it breaks that resistance level here, it'll retest the high and continue to keep on going up. Pound yen, you could see here, got to support, which is the bottom of the consolidation pattern here at 169.217. Held that support and basically now back at the resistance level at 174.805. Pound New Zealand here, one ugly pattern here that's going on. It's just one ugly consolidation pattern, so we're just going to skip that one. Pound USD, this is the most interesting one. So you could see here, this was when pound was getting weak, it went down. When the pound got stronger, it moved up, but didn't move up drastically compared to all the other currencies like pound Australian and so forth. So you could see that this is still going for a major pullback. Where the pullback level is going to be, we don't know. We're kind of thinking somewhere it's going to be around here, but it looks like it's right here. But it could go up a little and then to this resistance level of 63.38, hold it, and then go down. So we have to wait and see exactly what's going to happen. But if it holds that resistance level, then it's got a high probability of pulling back the reach to about 5,800. If it breaks it, it's going to go up further, and it may sit there even pull back all the way up to about 6,500, 6,600 level. New Zealand CAD, you could see here major trend upwards, and now it's going for its major pullback. So far it's stopped here at 90.23. If it stops here and goes and breaks a resistance at 92.64, this is still going to be very strong, where it will get to the pivot high and break that. If it sits there and stops here, goes up and holds the resistance at 92.64 and comes back down, it will probably break it and come all the way down here. So we're kind of waiting to see exactly what's going to happen, but we're in no man's territory right now to see exactly if it's going to continue to go down or pull up here at the support level. So we have to wait and see. New Zealand Switzy, you can see here, consolidation pattern, held the support of 78.93. It's at a major resistance 77.56 now. New Zealand CAD, this you could see this is kind of like the weakest of all the yen currencies, believe it or not. All the other yen pairs, they're at major resistances, and you could see this one is kind of not. It's at a minor resistance right now, so this is showing you a lot of signs of weakness, believe it or not. So definitely keep an eye on this one. So if you're looking to do some type of hedge play where you're trying to go long, maybe on the Switzerland yen, you may want to sit there and look at possibilities of going short on this one as a pairs trade, kind of for hedging. A New Zealand USD, it broke the support level here, 81.78 by 30 pips. So this week, the next couple of weeks, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But since it broke it here, we got a high probability of at least coming down to about 80.44, which will pretty much have killed this bullish trend here possibility by breaking the support level here. So looks like we're going to enter a consolidation pattern for a while in the weekly, and then we'll have to see what happens. If you guys remember this in the last couple of videos, we've been talking about this one, just like the US yen, Singapore yen, broken out and keeps on going with vengeance. It's a nice little trade that keeps on going up on both the daily and weekly, very similar to the US yen that we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. US CAD here, this is broke the resistance at 945, and now, believe it or not, it has a high probability of coming all the way up to about 1243 in the next couple of weeks and next couple of months. So we're wanting a little pullback for this guy. Once we see a pullback, then I think it's going to be prime for it to go up and get to that next level. US SWITSI here is trying to sit there and get to a resistance level of 94.32. If it does, it'll bounce off there and then do a pullback. Once we see where the pullback is going to be, then we'll know if this is going to retest that low or it's going to sit there and reverse into a consolidation pattern upwards. USDKK is very similar to US SWITSI. It's approaching resistance at 80.88. Support on this one's going to be 61.96. USD Hong Kong, it's right here at the support, which is multiple support lines, so there's not really much to talk. This is the one fame right now. US Yen is continuing to go up. And you could see it here is continuing to go up. High probability getting to at least 108 now, and then we'll have to see what happens. But this has been a great trade where it held the support at 101.90, held it, and then just sit there and took off with vengeance eventually to go up for about 700 pips plus. US NOK, bullish trending here as most of all the US currencies are. This is basically starting an ugly trend, upward trend on a weekly, nice bullish trend on a daily to keep on going up. US SEK here, nice little upward movement, hitting a major resistance, high probability getting 25.28 eventually. And then USD Singapore, not that much upward movement. Notice that here. So the Singapore dollar is, believe it or not, still very, very strong. Not strong as the US dollar, but it didn't have big of an upward movement compared to all the other currencies. So this has been one interesting currency to definitely keep an eye on. So if you guys look at it, definitely keep an eye on the Switzerland yen and a couple of other currencies, especially Australian based, which are kind of the borderline conditions as we call them. So something can sit there and move where it's going to sit there and tweak, move them either in the direction of the trend or against the trend. So keep an eye on the Australian currencies and definitely Switzerland yen this week and the next week. That's it for this week. Hope to see you guys in the next 2 weeks.